again. My name's Gabe Zona. Caught a little bit of Fox for a few minutes as I was walking by the set. And as expected, Chris Stirwalt, you know, the guy with the horrible looking teeth. Yeah. Anyway, he was doing what he usually does, which is knocking Donald. And the talking head and he were discussing Khiz Khan, you know, the family of the lost soldier. They lost their son. And because of that, they're a Gold Star family. And as I had said, the media is going to keep digging this up and throwing it at Donald for the next who knows how long. What was interesting was what Chris Stirwalt said about John McCain. He said that, you know, Donald shouldn't have gone after John, who was a war hero, who let other people go ahead of him to return to freedom. And he also said that McCain is laying low. You know why McCain's laying low? Huh? McCain doesn't want to antagonize Donald, because if he does, Donald will dig into his past. I hope he does anyway. The reason McCain let others go ahead of him was because he knew that those that went ahead of him gave vital information to the Viet Cong against America's interests. Now, what you have to know, if you're a new viewer to my channel, I've posted well over 140 videos on John McCain. You can Google Gabor Zolna, John McCain. They'll come up. I probably have spent more time on him than anyone other than the chosen one and that transsexual he shacked up with. And what you'll find is that McCain's father was Admiral of the Pacific Fleet during the Vietnam conflict. And he was offered release on more than one occasion because he was a traitor. He apparently, according to what's been reported by veterans, made over 30 propaganda videos denouncing America. It was also reported that McCain provided rather interesting, detailed information to the Viet Cong about the altitudes, direction of flight, call signs, and radio frequencies for many of the incoming bombers that attacked Hanoi. And as a result of that information, many American pilots were blown out of the skies, to the point that they discontinued bombing Hanoi. Yeah. McCain likes to tell a story that he was tortured. Well, actually, that's not true. What happened to McCain was when he ejected out of his A-4 Skyhawk being shot down over Hanoi, because he was flying too low. When he ejected, he didn't protect his arms, and the wind blast broke both shoulders. When he landed and parachuted out of the aircraft, he landed in a pond in Hanoi. And he was bayoneted, I believe, in the groin at that time. He was thrown in a cell for 4 days in complete and unbelievable agony. That would be the extent of his torture. And then the base commander realized that they had the prince, they had the son of the Admiral of the Pacific Fleet during the Vietnam conflict. At that point, McCain was rushed to the hospital. He was given, from what's been told, his own private female nurse. And she did more than just nurse him back to health. What you also need to know is that he's the only senator that received a presidential pardon from President Nixon. The pardon, I believe, was because McCain committed countless acts of treason. Totally insane. So McCain's wise to lay low and not stir the pot, so to speak, because what boils out of the pot would destroy his legacy. His meaning Johnny McCain. He's earned a couple of additional monikers. The songbird of the Hanno Hilton for the reasons I've just explained. He's also known as Johnny Wet Start. He used to have this habit of pouring raw fuel, inserting raw fuel into his turbine of his A4 Skyhawk, then igniting it, and a big flame would come out. While he was on the deck of the USS Forrestal aircraft carrier, and one of his friends was climbing into an A4 behind McCain's. McCain thought he'd do one of his wet starts. Well, the flame that came out of the back of that A4 Skyhawk ignited a Zuni rocket on the wing of the other aircraft. That Zuni rocket ignited ordnance on the deck of the USS Forrestal. 134 sailors lost their lives putting out the fire, and over 200 were seriously injured. Again, McCain's father was the Admiral of the Pacific Fleet. Talk about being born under a lucky star. Yeah, McCain wants to lay low, and he will lay low. I just can't stand listening to Chris. You know, he just needs to go find something else to do, but he won't, because Fox News uses people like him to discredit Donald. You sort of know what I think. You got a darn good idea as to why I think what I think. Let me know what you think. If you can, you might want to get this little message over to Donald. He might find some of it to be of interest. And if he's unaware of McCain's presidential pardon, this might make him aware of McCain's presidential pardon. Thanks for listening.